Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, or wherever this finds you on your Tuesday, March 10th, wherever and however. Hey, did you see I added video yesterday? Yep, I did my very first video episode. I wanted to give a little bit more of a visual presence to the show, and I did it while outside walking in yesterday's beautiful sunny weather here in Cincinnati. It's certainly not perfect. There are many kinks to work through, but I have found in my life if I overthink, overplan, overprocess, overideate, I just die on the hill of execution. The amount of cliffs I have failed to jump off because I've been overanalyzing it and overthinking it, trying to make it perfect, is far too many than I care to count this morning. So if you would allow me to just show up and test out new things and try new things, I really do appreciate your patience and being a part of our growth structure together. And that's kind of the trade-off. I will meet you kind of wherever you are in this life. You can show up and come as you are, whoever you are, and you will find a friend in me without judgment. That is the simple trade-off I can give you if you allow me to kind of work through the beginning parts of what we're building here. We're at officially just shy of 3 months of this morning. So a big shout out to some of our original listeners like Josh. I really do appreciate you more than you know. All right, question for you, and I want you to answer this in my DMs if it feels like it resonates with you. Maybe even leave me a voice note. Have you ever taken on someone else's problem and made it your own? Answer that question. Like I said, simple with writing, voice note, voice to text, whatever works for you. You can do that through my DMs. I check them every day. I'll explain why we're talking about that here in a minute, and a quick tip to decide whether or not you are doing that. Maybe you might be teetering on the edge a little bit of, am I doing this? I don't know. You got to give me like a little blueprint. I got you. You know, the reason why we're talking about it is I read something on it this morning. And so I'm starting a new feature on the show today called Hard Topic Tuesday. Hard Topic Tuesday if I'm in the Midwest rather. Hot Topic Tuesday if I'm talking to my dad in the Boston area. Hot Topic Tuesday. So start to think on that one. Before we even get there, checking in on you. What's going on in your world? Did you get a chance to check out the video yesterday? God, it was so bizarre and awkward to walk through Beachmont in Anderson Township. I mean, I love that park. I walk in it every day when I try to get my 10,000 steps. And I've been walking in it for a couple of weeks. I said, what if I could do the show on my feet out here? It is still very uncomfortable for me to be in front of video and to do it in front of people. So I'm working on flexing that skill and building that habit. So get a chance to check it out if you have some time. If you don't mind sitting through the cringe. Good God. Ugh. Millennial cringe. But how are you doing? You good? Just a regular Tuesday for you, or something a little bit bigger? Have you been working on expanding yourself or a business? Have you been sitting with an idea? Have you been texting your friends about something important? Are you feeling emotionally regulated, like your nervous system is cool, or are you struggling? Up and down. I'm in the up and down phase myself. It's just a part of transition. It's a road I have to walk down. That's okay, though. That's okay. It's okay. Other big things in the news to be aware of. Hillary Duff is just saving the millennial core, and she sang her new song Roommates for the very first time on The Tonight Show. So if you get a chance to scroll past those clips, you know she's coming to Cincinnati. Rihanna, not coming to Cincinnati, but the woman that opened fire on her house yesterday was arrested and charged with attempted murder. What's going on there? I mean, I myself am extremely upset that it's been 10 years since Rihanna released an album. And I can see, if you are not emotionally regulated and stable, how maybe your favorite artist not releasing an album would encourage you to open up gunfire on their home. But I'm going to say right now, I'm going to look you dead in the eye, and I'm going to leave you a voice note, and I'm going to say, you got to cool it. Go take a walk. Have you not been outside lately? It kind of feels like you've been on the internet a lot inside. You need to go get some vitamin D. You know my theory. Iced coffee, walk outside, check your horoscope. Do not buy a gun and open up fire on Rihanna's home. That's going to do, I guarantee you, that's going to do absolutely nothing. Hopefully as of right now, everyone is okay in that scenario, by the way. But what the heck? Other notable pieces of news, I had mentioned this maybe 2 weeks ago or last week sometime, that Ticketmaster and Live Nation were, the court case started with the DOJ on them. DOJ is trying to say, Department of Justice is trying to say, hey, there's a monopoly here. And we don't like it. And you know what? I agree. I don't want to sell a kidney to buy a concert ticket. It shouldn't be that ridiculous. It shouldn't be. So they're making some headway as of right now. They might have to sell off maybe 11 or 12 major concert venues because they also hold the market on concert venues. And then they might open up some of the original ticket sales towards like third parties, SeatGeek and StubHub, which might not affect the cost, but it might affect the availability of getting those Beyonce tickets. So I'll keep you posted, but those are just some updates that I thought you might like here as we go about diving into warm weather concert season. The one concert I want to go to in Cincinnati this year is Rufus Du Sol. And that thing, I think, is sold out like crazy. If you've got a ticket connect, let me know. I'm out of my radio game. Okay, Hot Topic Tuesday. It's time for Hot Topic Tuesday. I should get some sound effects as we build the show. Have you ever taken on someone else's problem and made it your own? The reason why I'm talking about this is I'm reading a book right now called Powerful as F***. And it's by an author, Morgan Field. And I've had this book on my bookshelf for a long time. I read it a couple of years ago, but something about it made me thumb through a couple of the pages. And it resonated with me this morning. So I figured, Hard Topic Tuesday. Let's take a peek into our own responsibilities and see what's happening here. Sometimes we take someone else's problem and then accidentally turn it into our responsibility. Before you know it, you're worrying about it, trying to solve it, carrying the emotional weight that was really never yours to begin with. How do you know if you are doing this? The one telltale sign that's wicked easy to pay attention to is, are you thinking about this person's problem beyond the conversation at hand? Do you find yourself in your shower talking about someone else's conversation in your head? Do you find yourself emotionally anticipating someone else's needs? Probably a partner, maybe a close friend, maybe your mother. Do you find yourself anticipating their emotional needs without them communicating it? That's another telltale sign. All of these are very easy traits to carry for people that are super empathetic. For people that are going through things like a job transition, because it's easier to focus on someone else's emotional weight than your own. It's also very easy for people who are not so self-aware. And that's okay. Again, I told you in the beginning of this episode, feel free to just show up as you are. Take what you need. Maybe it's a donut. I think I'm going to go get a donut this morning. God, I got distracted by the donut. Sorry. People who aren't self-aware, maybe this is your chance. Maybe something in this conversation will stick with you and you say, I'm that person. I'm that last person in this specific scenario. I didn't really realize I was doing this until I read the book. So I'm bearing that badge as well this morning. I am in the midst of the job transition. It's not a surprise, but maybe you are a new listener to this morning. I hope you're off to a good start. And because I don't have typical structure or routine, and I'm mourning the loss of one thing while ripping off, the packaging of something new, right? I am in the process of meeting the newest version of myself that I haven't met yet. So when that happens, that's sticky, that's uncomfortable, that's unknown. I'm like latching on to someone else and being like, well, what's going on over here? What could I really use this divine emotional intelligence of mine to like really unpack for someone and help them? In this particular case, it happens to be my partner. Oh my God, I find myself like loving to live his life for him. And the sad part is, not sad, I'm sorry, the realization is that I'm like taking away his power and it's emotionally draining me rather than just giving him his power back. And me taking some of that energy and putting it back into the hard things that maybe I'm avoiding. I think I'm being helpful, and sometimes there is. And when I was reading the book, I was like, well, wait a minute. Isn't there a balance? Isn't there some sort of balance of like, you do construction all day and yeah, there's a sink full of dishes. I can do the dishes. Or your laundry is sitting right here and I have like maybe 5 items in there out of the 40. But those 5 items like I need, so I could just do the laundry, right? That's helpful. Isn't that helpful, or am I delulu? Well, I think the question is that helpful? Absolutely. Is it taking away someone's power? Potentially. But is it wasting your time and energy? It might be. Damn it. Damn it. So I realized that I was thinking about my partner's life a little bit more than my own in some ways, right? You know, he works a construction job, and let me tell you, construction boys love to bitch. Oh my God, they're just as petty, if not more petty than females are. I love it. I mean, maybe it's just because I love the tea. I love the tea of the workforce. But, you know, I see so much in him and I love him and I want the best for him. And conversation is a superpower of mine. So when he comes home and he's like spilling all of this on me, you know, which he verbally processes his ADHD and all these things out loud, right? And we share. I love sharing. I love conversation. But instead of taking it on and then thinking about it, you know, 2 days later in the shower and the ways that he could have bettered himself at work, instead of doing that, in the moment, it's more of a realization of I can support him without absorbing this entire situation. I can care about someone without carrying it for them. So I'm curious, do you ever notice yourself doing that? Do you take on stress that technically doesn't belong to you? Because I think a lot of people care very deeply. You quietly carry a lot. And what is that doing for your nervous system? That's where I think it is. I think it disrupts my nervous system. And then I add a couple of drinks like I did this weekend, and maybe something comes out that really didn't need to come out. You know, I was carrying something else for someone else rather than taking that energy and putting it back into myself. A couple of really good everyday examples. A bestie calls about their relationship. She's frustrated. You listen, but now you're thinking about it all day. You're analyzing the text. You're giving advice. And listen, I love delusion. I love voice notes. I do think caring about someone else's situation does help, but how much of it is a power balance of you taking their power versus giving that power back to yourself? Just be aware of that one. A coworker stressed about a project. Family examples are big ones, right? Your partner's going through something challenging. You're thinking about the solutions. Maybe you're losing sleep over it. Things like that. You can love someone, but that doesn't mean you have to carry the entire outcome for them. Because then I found myself getting frustrated. Well, you came home and you vented to me. I took on what you were saying. I processed it. We came up with a really good solution and answer. And then you come home and nothing's changed and we're right back into the conversation again. That is the power and the energy suck. Okay, well, I don't want my partner to stop talking to me about what's going on in their life, right? No need to bottle it up, but I think how much you hold it, carry it, keep it, think about it, give back to it, that's where it becomes a problem for you. That's like the backpack idea. Imagine every person is walking through life carrying their own backpack. Inside that backpack is responsibility, emotion, choices, problems. I can walk next to you with your backpack on, and I have my backpack on. I can talk to you about what's in that backpack and whatnot. I can even help you like adjust the straps and such, especially if you have one of those big travel Cotopaxi ones like I took to Asia. But if you pick up their backpack and try and carry it yourself, eventually you collapse. I think the sneaky reason empathetic people do this a lot is, you can understand this feeling, but you're not responsible for fixing the feeling. So instead of witnessing someone struggle, you try and manage it, which makes sense. I do that all the time. All right. So if you're sitting here thinking, how do I do this? Shift from solving to supporting. Instead of jumping into advice or solutions, start with this line instead. That sounds really hard. I'm glad you told me. Or I'm here if you want to talk. And then pause and let them respond. Still caring, still present, still emotionally engaged, but you no longer carry it. You're letting them do it. You're giving them their power back. The power to process, analyze, executive function what's going on in their life. Give them the power of their choices. Give them the power. We have a choice. Give them their choice back. Sometimes the most supportive thing you can do for someone isn't solving the problem. It's just sitting next to them while they figure it out. So did they ask me to solve this or did they ask me to listen? And if you are someone that you're like, I don't know how to do this, try that. Are you asking me to solve this or do you want me to just listen? And then it disarms your brain and you go from, this actually isn't, you go towards, this isn't my assignment. This is their assignment. Got it. Okay. One thing I'm trying lately is asking myself that question. Did they ask me to solve this or did they want me to just listen? And that moment I realized I don't have an assignment here. I can just put their backpack down. They're just taking their backpack off for a few minutes. They're going to pick the backpack up and carry it. I don't have to carry it. Okay? When you stop carrying someone else's problem, you suddenly have a lot more emotional energy than you realize, and you can redirect it. Put it back into your own life, goals, health maybe, things you've been putting it off. Creative hobbies, walking, calling a friend. Okay? Something I'm realizing is when you stop carrying things that are not yours, you finally have the energy to carry things that actually matter in your own life. Hot Topic Tuesday. I invite you to continue this conversation on Instagram. It's just I direct people to voice note me there. And I would love for you to be a part of our This Morning community by joining in on that at the Tiff. 2 F's Potter like the Wizard. I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for doing that. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for inviting me into your life. And thank you for inviting me to the places that you love. I'll be right back here tomorrow.